Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Danu. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Okay, it's 6 o'clock and I have a quorum here. At tonight's meeting, I have myself, Danu, Tim Bresnahan, Rebecca Wood, and Jan Johnson. Also, we have our Park and Rec Director, Jillian Rossi, and we have a special guest from our City Clerk's office, Kristen Ducoy. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order for August 4, 2025. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. Jan, Tim, or Rebecca, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Rebecca. Do I get a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Thank you, Tim. The agenda is approved, and then we have the approval of our draft minutes from June 2nd, 2025. And at that particular meeting, I was there, Rebecca was there, Anthony was there, Candace was there, and Dave Crawford. Dave and Candace won't be joining us tonight. So uh, I'd like to make a motion to approve our minutes. And Rebecca, if you could second them when you're ready.
I second it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rebecca. So our draft minutes from June 2nd are approved. Do we have any public comments not on the agenda? Oh, great. Colin's joining us. Hey, Colin. If not, I'd like to move right on to our presentation tonight. We have a training for our city boards presented by our city clerk. Um, I've your title. What, Kristen, why don't you introduce yourself?
You're good. I am Deputy City Clerk, and I'll be presenting on Sunshine Law and Cora for you guys tonight.
Great. If you'd like to share your screen.
Sure thing. Let me see if I can. All right, can everybody see okay?
Yep, looks good to me.
All right. And then because I can't see you guys very well, I'm gonna ask if you could test out like your thumbs up and your raising your hand, because I'll be kind of looking for a little bit of participation throughout.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay on my headphone? Um,
Yeah, that right,
no.
that's good right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Have you guys used the thumbs up feature and the raise your hands feature on Zoom before?
Uh, yeah, some of us have, yeah.
You have? Okay. I just wanted to recommend maybe like testing that out and see if you guys are comfortable with that because I'll be asking for some participation a little bit as we go through this training presentation. And I wanted to make sure that I'll be able to see you guys because with the screen share, I can't see as much, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And it shows you guys when you talk too. So if you are able to use it, that's fine.
Huh. Where's my thumbs up thing here? Maybe under more.
Danu, do you have a
Yeah.
thing at the bottom of your screen that says react?
Uh, yeah, I do.
If you click on
Okay.
that, it should give you some options of
Oh, excellent. Yeah, thank you,
hearts and
Colin.
yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay, cool. All right, then if everybody's ready, I'll go ahead and get started here. So Colorado Sunshine Law is under Title 24, Article 6, sections 101 to 502, and it informs the methods by which public meetings are conducted. Essentially, the main purpose of this law is public transparency. And we're going to focus in on open meetings law, which is under sections 401 to 402, which generally says all meetings of 3 or more members of any local public body where any public business is discussed must be open to the public. I'd like to point out 2 criteria here. So it's going to be that 3 or more members of your board, and then also that public business is being discussed. So those are the 2 criteria that we're looking for when it falls under open meetings law. And then a local public body is going to be your board, committee, commission. And if I jump to the end there, it more generally says any public or private entity that has been delegated any governmental decision-making function. Right. So what is a meeting? Does anybody want to try to define what a meeting is? Anybody want to guess? No? Okay. So do you guys think that a meeting could happen over Facebook or Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. Do you think it could happen over the phone?
Yes.
What about through email?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, state statute broadly defines a meeting as any kind of gathering convened to discuss public business in person, by phone, electronically, or by other means of communication. So that's pretty broad, right? However you can communicate that meets that criteria for open meeting. We're going to go over 4 types of meetings, including open meetings, meetings requiring notice, meetings requiring minutes, and executive sessions. There will be times where you'll have a meeting that might involve all 4 of these points. Most of the time, you're going to see those top 3. So to dive in a little bit deeper of what an open meeting is, and we do have some fill in the blanks for you here. Meetings with how many members is it again?
3.
3.
3 or more. Yeah, thank you. All right. And then of any local public body or quorum, whichever is left. So that quorum piece wasn't in that first verbiage that we had. Does anybody want to try to define what a quorum is?
A quorum is when there's at least a majority of the members present for a meeting, and the majority is based on the number of actual members in our board.
That's correct. It could also be defined as the minimum number of members needed to make the meeting valid. So both of those are true. With that, the reason I wanted to break this down a little bit further is because if you have a scenario, which hopefully you guys never run into this, but let's say you don't have a full board of 7. Hypothetically, what if you only had 3 members on your board? What would your quorum be?
2.
Yes, yeah. So if 2 makes a quorum, that's less than 3. So in that scenario, if you only had 3 board members, then 2 members getting together and having a meeting would trigger open meetings law in that scenario. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Are we going to get prizes for this, for the most correct answers?
I don't have prizes for this one, but definitely you could have a gloating right. But I will say I am working on some more training for boards that we're hoping is going to be even more interactive, and we're talking about prizes for that. So to be determined later. And then the other fill in the blank at which what is discussed. Anybody want to fill it in? What was that other criteria that we?
Public business.
Correct. Thank you. All right. And then it says at which formal action is taken, which is a given if you're discussing public business, if that's a possibility. All right. And meetings requiring notice, a minimum of how much time? Does anybody want to tell me how far in advance do you have to publish an agenda?
24 hours.
Perfect. Thank you. And so 24 hours notice with the specific agenda information where possible is required for meetings in which, to summarize that first bullet, formal action occurs, covers all of it. And then in that second bullet, it's saying where a quorum is expected, well, sorry, a quorum is in attendance or expected to be in attendance. So basically your meetings are intentional. So we want to notice those to the public. And when meetings require minutes is whenever formal action occurs or could occur. So if there is something on your agenda that indicates your board might take action, then you want to plan on having minutes for that meeting. All right, so we're going to jump into executive sessions a bit. Essentially, as an executive session is a closed portion during a regular or special meeting. It's only for a limited number of matters. You cannot take formal action during executive session, and it has to be, it's a formal process. So you have to state the specific provision authorizing the executive session and the topic to be discussed as well. We want to emphasize that you should refer to your staff liaison and they'll refer to the clerk's office or city attorney as needed if you think that you might need an executive session. Because like I said, very formal process. For example, there was a municipality in Colorado within the past few years, I think, give or take, that did not enter executive session properly, and the matter was taken up with the court. And the judge did say, because you didn't enter executive session properly, it actually is not a true executive session, therefore it's still part of the public meeting, and they had to release the recording of that session. So just very important that we make sure that we have these set up right when they do come up. And then to cover some
Kristen,
topics. Yeah, what's your question?
Kristen, is there a way for you to increase the volume on your headset because you're not coming through real clearly?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's not, but let me try something here. Try without the headset here. Can you hear me now? Oh,
Yes.
yes. Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Do you guys want me to go back at all on anything? Do you have any questions so far?
No, I think you're doing great.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Please let me know if there's an echo as well, because I've put you guys on speaker. All right. So topics for executive session, as you can see here, property transactions, attorney conferences, negotiations, personnel matters, confidential matters under state or federal law. So for example, that might be HIPAA. I don't think you guys will ever run into that, but just so you know, an example. And then we'll get into documents protected under CORA a little bit later here. All right. So best practices that we recommend is be transparent, keep your discussions about public business during the meeting as much as you can. Even if it's not something that's going to trigger open meetings law, so you're just discussing with you and one other person, it's still, you know, in the spirit of the law to keep that at the public meeting as much as you can. And then it's also good process so that you're not repeating yourself. And second point here is just essentially, if you are talking about public business outside of public meetings, sometimes that word can get out. And on that note, we're just tying into CORA briefly here. Your emails concerning public duties or funds are for the most part public records and under Colorado Open Records Act. So they are requestable, even if it's not something that's triggering open meetings law. It can be requested.
And for emailing best practices, your staff liaisons, you've seen them do this, so they have pretty good system down for that. We recommend blind carbon copy. It prevents the potential back and forth. It's just more of these are cautionary to, make sure that we're keeping our emails one way, do not reply, and such. Does anybody know what a daisy chain is? No one? So a daisy chain is when you have indirect communication from one board member to the next to the next. That would also trigger open meetings law. So that could be one member saying to like person A to person B, I think we should vote yes on this item. Person B goes to person C and says, I agree we should vote yes. And C goes to D and says, for your information. So we really want to avoid that because that would also be triggering open meetings law, which we don't want to have unplanned meetings, right? So, emails not included in open meetings law are going to be emails that do not relate to the merits or substance of pending legislation or other business. Emails about scheduling and availability, and then emails for the purpose of forwarding information. The forwarding information, of course, we want to be cautious of. We would expect that this would be more for forwarding packet material or research for upcoming meetings, more likely to your chair or staff liaison, just so that we are, again, keeping it transparent. All right. And then I have a little fun quiz for you guys with some scenarios. If you guys want to get your phones out, just a moment, I'm going to get this opened up. Have you guys used Menti before?
I
Anybody?
have no,
No?
not me.
No,
All right. So it's just a, let me get out of this real quick. So you go to, if you will, on your phone, you'll go to menti.com, and then you will put in the code at the top here, which is 52230942. And this is just for fun. Some specific scenarios that I didn't really cover in the presentation, so you can totally guess.
What's the code again, Kristen?
52230942.
Okay.
All right, I've got a couple answers here. Right, we've got 3. It looks like I got a
mine
couple.
says menti.com cannot be reached.
Oh,
Am I spelling it wrong?
um, it's menti.com. I don't know if something on your phone might be blocking it or um
I didn't spell it right.
okay.
And the code again?
It's 52230942. All right, so it looks like I've got 5 answers. So it says Jane is having a party for the holidays and has invited everyone on her board. Does her event fall under open meetings law? So remembering that criteria that we went over before, this technically is no, does not fall under open meetings law because it's not intended to discuss public business. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, we'll go to the next question. So it says, Tom is discussing public business with an alternate member on his board when another member approaches. Will the discussion trigger open meetings law? All right, just a minute. All right. And the answer is yes, because your alternate is still a member of the board. Open meetings law still applies. There's the potential for them to vote on a matter later. So you guys are right on that one. Awesome. All right. And we have some scenarios here. You can select more than one. So what scenarios here do you think are considered an open meeting? We've got 2 board members discussing public business while out at lunch. We've got 2 board members discussing public business via emails that include the entire board. 3 board members discussing public funds at the office. And 4 board members discussing availability for their next meeting. All right, so we have some mixed answers here. So the 2 in the middle, yes, do trigger open meetings law. The first one would only trigger open meetings law if your board only consisted of 3 people. But since your board consists of more and the 3 or more applies, it does not trigger open meetings law. Now, is it in the best spirit of transparency? Maybe not as much. All right, and then I would love to get your guys' input on what you learned about open meetings law today, before we go on to questions.
It was just a good refresher, so thank you.
Yeah, of course. Excited to be here. All right, anybody else have anything to add? You guys want me to go to questions?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your feedback, you guys. I'll still be able to see that later if you submit. So, going back to our slides here. What questions do you guys have about open meetings before we move on to Cora? Nothing from anybody?
No, keep going. Keep going, Kristen.
Awesome. Okay. We'll move right along here. All right. We have open records law and processes. It's also under Title 24, Article 72, and starts with Section 201. Colorado Open Records Act CORA says all public records shall be open for inspection by any person at reasonable times. And we have a little message here. It says under CORA, all messages sent to or from this email account may be subject to public disclosure. You guys have probably seen this before on staff emails. This is our message at the bottom so that you know that our correspondence is requestable and part of public record. So to define what public record is, we'll highlight the key parts here. All writings made, maintained, or kept by any local government financed entity for use in the exercise functions required or authorized by law or administrative rule or involving the receipt or expenditure of public funds. And then we'll note that correspondence of elected officials and appointed members is included as part of public records. Correspondence not included in public records includes work product, which is consists of deliberative materials prepared by or for elected officials. So that's going to be things like memorandums, um, like more informal memos, I should say, drafts and notes, that sort of thing. The second point here is for communications that are not part of the exercise of functions required for public function. And then thirdly, communications that are clearly of a personal nature. We have some examples of some records that are not included in Cora. And then more importantly, I'd like to highlight the redacted information. We do redact personal identifiable information from Cora requests. So that's going to be your personal phone number, personal home address, email address, credit card numbers, that sort of thing. And then correspondence not related to public business or public funds. All right, can anybody tell me who the custodian of records is?
Wouldn't that be your
You.
office?
Yes. So the custodian is the city clerk, and then as deputy city clerk, I can act on behalf of the city clerk as needed. So I do help out with those Cora requests too. And then the state statute says that our city clerk can make rules to protect the records as necessary and also to prevent unnecessary interference with the regular duties of the clerk's office, is essentially what that says. And then so you guys have a little bit of an idea of what our process looks like. We do have a public records policy, which is available on the city clerk's website or webpage, I should say. It's to assure prompt and equitable service, and our policy is to make all records available for public inspection unless such records are protected from disclosure by state or federal law, by court order, or unless disclosure of such records would be contrary to the public's interest. I will say that the criminal justice records maintained by the Manitou Springs Police Department are not part of this. Those are kept separately. But you can make a request on the same form for those records as you can with records through our office. And this is what the form looks like. It's on our website as well, and we have it available in office. You do have to submit your request in writing, and we require enough specificity so that we can fulfill the request, because if it's too broad, it's hard for us to, we may or may not be able to find exactly what you're looking for. All right, and then as far as records response, I'll highlight a few things here. We do respond within 3 business days. If the requester has a more in-depth request, then we may have to extend that. There's an hourly research and retrieval fee of $41.31 or 37 cents, excuse me. The first hour is free. And then if the request is denied, we do provide a reason for denial in writing. All right, so how this relates to you guys is that your emails and text messages are Cora requestable. So we just recommend that you keep transparency in mind in all of your communications, and that could potentially be requested. All right, we're at the end here. Who has questions about Cora?
I'd just like to compliment you on what your presentation was. It was appropriately interactive and informative reminder.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Go ahead and stop sharing here then, if no one else has any questions.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kristen.
Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and so nobody's got any questions? Okay, Great. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. I'd like to keep moving on with our meeting. Next up, we have our reports. We have arborist report. I don't know, Jillian, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a few updates to share. So our last chipping zone of the year, neighborhood chipping zone, starts tomorrow. That's chipping zone 5. So that's the Rockledge area of Manitou. So if you have any neighbors in the Rockledge area or you live there, we're gonna start chipping tomorrow. Our forestry division, Aaron and Michael, they're going to continue street tree pruning. They've been weaving their way through the zones throughout the season as well. And we did remove last Friday a giant willow that I think years ago had fallen into Fountain Creek behind the Creek Walk townhomes. And it was a flood risk. If it were to get washed away in any sort of flooding event, it could have caused some serious damage. So we were happy to finally be able to get that out of the creek. It involved waders and chainsaws safely, but it was all removed and it looks awesome. So that is all I have for the arborist report today.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any reports for Park and Rec? I just have a few notes. I received a resignation letter from Candace Craig. And also, David Crawford informed me that he is needing to resign from PARAB as well. And so that's all I have for reports. Tonight we don't have Natalie for our council liaison. And then
You
This
have
is-
me.
oh yeah. Oh hi Natalie. I didn't see you. Here, wait a minute.
I was late. I was late.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I have to get rid of my how do I get rid of my little oh, I got it.
What have you?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Natalie, what do you have? Do you have anything, Natalie?
I'm gonna have to work
Sorry.
through the rejection of you not noticing me on the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
call. No, anyway, just a couple things. One, we will be discussing, I believe, phase 4 of the Creek Walk Trail will be on council agenda for tomorrow. It is a consent item, but we'll see if that gets pulled if we discuss that further. But that is something we'll be discussing tomorrow. I'm also liaison to the Mobility and Parking Board, and I just wanted to mention that they also wrote a letter of support for the Bill Bauer open space. And so that has been received by council. And then the big one, obviously, is we did our ballot measure presentation to discuss balancing our budget and filling that budget gap for next year. And so I just sort of wanted to reach out and see if anyone had any questions regarding that. And those are the three things I had.
For the
Anybody
jury.
questions?
I'll just say, Natalie, great job with a very difficult presentation.
Yeah, thank you. We practiced a lot.
I thought you might have. Still, you did a great job.
But again, I am open for any questions if anyone even has any offline or would like to reach out. But we will be doing, potentially a first reading tomorrow. So
I also concur with Tim. It was difficult. It was succinctly explained, and due to the process and difficulty, I think it's a reasonable solution.
thanks, Jan. I appreciate it. And obviously we do not anticipate any impact to PARAB or to our parks and all those things that are really important to our residents. So I think that's an important piece. So
Agreed.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, pretty great.
Thanks,
Um,
Natalie.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. I'm sorry again.
I'll get
Um,
over it. I'll get over it.
all right, good. Jillian, do you have something for our director's report for Park and Rec?
Yeah, I have a few things. So first, I've noticed, and I don't know if these seem to be folks who are visiting town, but a lot of folks have been feeding our squirrels in multiple parks. I've seen it in Memorial Park, Shriver Park, and Fields. and our squirrels are becoming very friendly. So if you happen to notice it, or if you're a squirrel feeder or a wildlife feeder, or any of your friends are, just remind them it's really not good for them. We're seeing piles of peanuts being left in some of the parks. So just a reminder that we want to make sure our wildlife, we keep them wild, and a friendly squirrel can turn into a dangerous squirrel pretty quickly. So just an FYI, something I noticed last week a lot. But we anticipate having our Soda Springs Park Phase 3 construction drawing contract on the August 19th City Council agenda on the consent calendar. So we have selected Horde Copland Mott as our consultant. Of course, they did Phase 1 and Phase 2, and now we get to work with them on Phase 3. So pretty excited about that. Get to work with Robin and Mia again. The bench, I'm sure our pickleballers have noticed, the bench in front of the pickleball court has been removed. Don't worry, we're putting it back. It suffered some damage last Friday, so we removed it so we can repair it. But we're gonna get that bench put back in place tomorrow. And the pickleball community noticed very quickly that it was gone. So thank you, pickleballers, for reaching out about that. The pool is closing on August 18th for the much needed roof repair and replacement, and it will be closed through the remainder of the year. We are going to try as hard as we can to open it back up on January 2nd. So during the new year, we'll have a new roof, new year. It won't be leaking. We're going to get that temporary shoring out of there. That's that plywood behind the locker rooms and at the back of the big pool area. So that'll be great. It'll help with energy efficiency also, and just getting a lot of that rotting wood out of the roof. So it's a long closure, but it is needed. It's absolutely needed. There are some mushrooms growing in Library Park lawn. I'm looking into it now with our turf maintenance contractor. They're harmless. It just means the lawn is receiving a lot of moisture. You'll notice them near the bottom of the hill where a lot of water collects. So just so you know, we're aware of the mushrooms and are looking into it. And our second phase of our sidewalk power washing starts on September 3rd. So we had rolling suds come out at the beginning of the season, and we're going to have them come out after Labor Day to do another round. So they're going to be cleaning the sidewalk near the Soda Springs restrooms and all throughout downtown Manitou Springs. So just a heads up, and that's all I have tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julian.
Yep.
Any questions for Julian?
I have one comment.
Go ahead.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. Well, frequently at Fields Park in the morning for cross country practices, and the lawn crew there was, blowing their, the grass from the mowers into the street and all over the cars. So I just wanted to bring that up, make sure that they know that probably not a great idea to do that.
Got it. Thanks for sharing that, Tim.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to move on to our old business. Since Candace has resigned from our board, we are in need of another new secretary. So just for I guess just for formalities, would anybody like to volunteer for that position?
I'm not eager for
Okay.
that.
I know.
Same, I will not do that.
Okay, fair enough. Colin?
No, I kept my video off in hopes you wouldn't call on me, Danu.
All
But yeah,
right.
I wouldn't be good for that either. Sorry.
No, I get it. I get it. And I already know how you feel, Jan. So,
Concur.
all right, well, we'll just soldier on. We'll figure something out, I guess. Maybe if you folks, we have 2 new openings for our board. If any of you folks might know somebody who might want to join PARAB and who might want to tackle taken on the position of secretary, why don't you ask them and see if they'd be interested? I mean, that's not a stipulation if they want to join the board. They don't have to be secretary, but it's just a thought. Um, moving on to new business, Jillian, Jillian got a couple bids, I think, for pruning the willow trees that are right on Becker's Lane, right at the entrance of the parking lot.
Yeah, and I haven't received a quote from Save a Tree yet. I do have the Tall Timbers quote, which was for the $4,180. So this is a picture of the back side of the willows. Kind of looks like a Halloween tree right now with all the giant dead limbs poking out from the top. I will say we're on a bit of a time crunch for this. It requires shutting down Becker's Lane, which is a school route. So we'd like to get it done before school goes back into session. So right now I'm leaning towards Tall Timbers because they've provided the quote. They've been on site a couple times to assess the tree, and they'll be able to get all of the dead wood out of there, remove the hazard and make it look a lot better, and also increase the tree health. So again, their quote was for $4,180, and that does include traffic control. So they'd be the ones managing the road closure that day.
Okay, Para, what do you guys want a second quote just for comparison? I know school starts back August 14th.
Right.
Do we think we'd see much of a difference?
I don't know.
I think I think
Go
time
ahead.
is of the essence.
Okay. So then are you guys all okay to go with that quote then? The bid from Tall Timbers?
I'm
I
good.
mo- Yeah, I move that we go ahead with that bid. That's my motion.
I'll second that, Jan.
Okay, thanks, Colin. Does everybody approve of the motion to proceed to prune the trees with Tall Timbers bid?
I do.
Okay, I do too. Okay, Rebecca, thanks. All right, then the motion passes. And what I would like to do is take those monies from the El Paso Beckers Fund as part of our maintenance. And Jillian, if you want, I can shoot off a quick little note to Rebecca and copy you on that as well.
Yeah,
Would that
that'd
be
be
okay?
great. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Awesome.
Alrighty,
Thank
well,
you guys. This
yeah.
is very helpful.
okay.
Thanks, Danu.
Alrighty. Yeah, no problem. Other business, our next meeting falls on Labor Day. Do we want to just go ahead and meet the following Monday? That would be September 8th.
I cannot make it.
Okay,
I'm also going to be out of town on the 8th, Danu,
okay,
and camping actually, so out of Wi-Fi.
okay. Tim, Rebecca?
That works for me.
I can attend.
Okay. All right, well, let's, and then I can make that as well. So let's just go ahead and schedule it for the 8th then, okay? Now that we have 6, I need 4 for a quorum, 6 board members, so I need to at least have 4 people there at our next meeting, so. All right. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll move to adjourn.
Thank you, Tim. I will second that. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks all.
One,
Okay.
good night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Jillian.
Thank you, Danu.